Hi guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create some lentil bead earrings using some leftovers from our canes. So this is my African art cane, and we've got quite a bit of scraps here that we can use. Now you're also going to need some black, so I'm just going to take a bit of that. We don't want huge earrings. So take the black and just take a bit that is about half of what you would want your earring to be. And I'm just going to make sure that my two balls are the same size. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to cut that in half. And just roll that into a ball. Okay. And it's a little large. I'm just going to chop off a few pieces. And now we're going to be doing a little bit of sanding later on, so if it gets a little messy, that's fine. Just chopping off some pieces so that it is the right size, and also that will clean it up as well. Okay, and I'll take that, squish them together, and I'll roll it up into a ball. Like so. And I'm going to just chop off a bit here because this is a little bit too much black for my liking. This is a really free-handed project. You don't have to worry about being completely exact. Okay, now let me move this out the way because it looks bad. And now I'm going to use this lentil bead roller that I have here. I'm just going to start in the center and I'm going to start rolling. And I have my hands resting on my work surface, and I am just going in round circular pattern, and you're going to continue doing that until you get enough of a swirl that you're happy. That drifted off a little bit there. There we go. Come back here and just continue doing this until you are sufficiently happy with your swirl, and then you will create another one so that we can create a pair of earrings. And I'll show you what this looks like once I am happy with the swirl. You don't want to go overboard. So I'm actually probably almost done here. Let's have a back, that looks okay, and this will be our front. Okay, so I'm happy with that, so now I'm just going to get it into the right shape. Get it into a nice round shape. And this is probably the trickiest bit, getting it into a somewhat symmetrical looking piece. So I'll continue doing that until I am happy with the shape. Okay, now I just want to show you a trick to clean off your piece if it gets dirty like this, because it means that we have to do a lot less sanding later. Take some 99% isopropyl alcohol, spray it onto a wet wipe, and then you can clean the surface, and that will remove a lot of the dust and clay residue. So I'll just put this together like so, roll that together so it's nice and squished together. Okay, and I got a little bit too much black for my liking. Okay, and now you'll see it's quite dirty. And so just take your isopropyl alcohol and just rub that over the surface and you'll find that that does a very good job of cleaning off the surface and making your piece much brighter. Also, this is going to save a lot of sanding later on. It's not going to get rid of everything, but it will get rid of a lot of it. And then you can continue by creating your lentil bead. There we go. So you can see that these two match quite nicely, whereas these two match quite nicely. You're going to have different ones. Some are going to turn out a little bit more plain than others, whereas others are going to end up looking a bit more complicated. So you want to make a few and make sure that they match up. Okay, and now just gently tweak it so that it looks correct. And then we're going to put that onto a piece of plain printing paper. And you're going to bake that for at least 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature. And then when it's done, we will finish them off. Okay, and then we're probably going to want some little beads to go with that, so take some more of your leftovers. Just take some colourful pieces, and we really don't need a lot. Just take that and roll it in your hand to create a little ball. And let me have a look. See, yeah, we're going to want little balls like that. So I'm going to create 2 of these for 2 of them, and then the others I'm going to actually use some black beads, and we'll see which ones look the best. Okay, so just roll them out and then pop them onto a piece of plain printing paper, bake for 40 minutes, and then when they come out we're going to do a bit of sanding and refining and just make them look much better. And actually, something else I want to point out is if you're not getting an even lentil shape, which I am having a little bit of trouble doing, what you can do is you can just gently flatten it out with your lentil roller, like so. And then I'm just going to bring over a piece of plain printing paper, give it a burnish, like so, and then this also gives you an opportunity to clean them out. So this is a decision for you. It's completely up to you whether you want them to be flat or lentil shaped. It really depends on whether you're good or not at making pure lentil shapes. If not, then this is a great option. And it also means that the sanding process later is much easier. You can take your isopropyl alcohol and give this a clean ahead of time, which means that sanding later on is very, very little. So I'm probably going to do that with the others. And then you also want to take a circle cutter, position it in the spot that you like, and cut. And there you have a nice even swirl that can be very easily sanded. And that is my personal preference. It looks a lot neater than this. So if you're good at rolling lentil shapes, then by all means go ahead and do that, but this is generally what I prefer to do. And we can tend to the back after it's baked. Just make sure to gently smooth the sides, which will reduce the amount of sanding, and then pop that into the oven. And I'm going to do that with the others. Okay, and here they are out of the oven. I've sanded these 3 already, and these we don't really need to worry about. Now we're going to sand this one. So let me grab those, put those to the side. Go take some 400 grit sanding paper and just start sanding. And be careful, you don't want to be too rough with this. We're going to be putting resin on, so it doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. We just want to get rid of any hangovers that might be along the edge here where it's sharp. And you also want to get rid of any smudges that are on the surface. So make sure to sand the sides like so, and then sand the front and back. And just don't go too hard on it, because The clay, it's not very, the actual effect, it's not very deep, so if you sand it, you'll actually find that you might sand it off completely. So just be careful when it comes to that. And then I'm going to go from a 400 to a 600 and then up to a 800. And that is where I will stop, and then we can start applying resin. Alright, so I'm done sanding. Doesn't take too long. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to take some isopropyl alcohol, and this is not completely necessary, but it's a good way to clean this and prevent your pieces from giving trouble when you're resining, because sometimes the resin decides that it doesn't want to spread evenly, and so giving it a nice clean with the isopropyl alcohol will clean up any residue that is on the surface. It will also get rid of any dust from your sanding papers, so just clean all of them, give them a nice rub with the alcohol, and it doesn't have to be any particular strength as far as the alcohol goes. So I'm using 99% alcohol, but any strength will work, and then just dry them off. There we go. I'll bring over this mat. And we're going to coat both sides in resin, and this is the one I'm using. You can also use Teresa Salgado's Deep Shine. You can also use Lisa Pavelka's Magic Gloss as well. That will create quite a nice high dome. And actually, I think I want to use that for the front. I'll use the Magic Gloss for the front to create a nice dome, and then for the back I will use that other Chinese UV resin. So I'll just bring that over, and this is what it looks like. Just apply a decent amount to the surface. I don't want to apply too much. Then I'll just grab a skewer and just brush that all the way to the edge of your piece. And this will give us a nice clean finish, and this is why I'm not going to worry about sanding it too much, because it will cover up any scratches. Now you might be wondering why this one has a slight white streak. That's because that was in the clay when I rolled it, and so there's no actual way to get rid of that. Okay, and then once you've spread it out, you're going to leave it for a little while just to see if it pulls away. With the Magic Gloss, it creates a very nice high dome, so it will probably pull away at first, and you'll need to add just a touch more Magic Gloss. So the best thing to do is to start pour resin on all of them, and then leave them for a moment while you spread out the resin on the rest, and then you'll be able to see how much it has pulled away. So I'll show you that in just a moment as soon as I finish spreading this one across. Hopefully you can see already that we've got some pulling away here. Right, so then if that happens, grab your resin, pour on a bit more, not too much, don't go overboard. Gently bring it to the edges, and then leave to see if it pulls away again. And just repeat with all of them. Then I will put them into the UV light for about half an hour to cure them. Okay, so they're out of the lamp, and now I'm going to add the resin to the back. Like so. And you'll repeat with all of the others. And then put them in the UV lamp for half an hour again. Okay. So I'm just taking them out the UV lamp now. And here are our backs, nice and shiny, but here are our fronts with a beautiful dome. Okay, just turn those all the way around. And you might need to just clean up a few smudges. I'm going to need to use a wet wipe on that one. But just give them a gentle rub to get rid of smudges, and then we're going to proceed to drill holes in them so that we can start creating earrings. And as for those round beads, I can't remember if I actually said so or not, but I'm not going to be using them, I've decided. There. Okay. So now you want to decide how you want it to wear. Do you want to drill a hole over here so it looks like waves coming from the side, or do you want to drill it from the top? And I think I want to drill it from the top on the black part. Okay, and I'll just get it started by spinning it. Then I'll start doing it by hand. Okay, there we are. Nice clean hole. Okay, repeat that with the others. Okay, then once you've drilled it, grab a jump ring, and I generally use a fairly large jump ring. And a lot of the time my clay is a little too thick for the jump ring to actually go through, so I have to close it in, like so. Just fix that little crease. Okay, then just make sure it's stuck in there well. Put that to the side. Grab an eye pin or a head pin. You're gonna make a loop. I'm sorry, that wasn't on camera. Let me start again. Let me just zoom out. There. Start again so you can see. Just make a loop. Like so. Go take this nice little teardrop that I have. And I'll make another loop. Like so. Okay. Then we'll take the bottom one, the largest end of the teardrop, and attach that to our jump ring and close. Then take your ear wire, open that up, attach that to your earring, close that up, and that's all you need to do. It's very simple. And the last thing I like to do is I like to then just get this quick clean, because it will get some fingerprints on it. And that's basically it. That is how you would create these earrings. So let me just quickly zoom out, and then I'll show you what we've made. So there are the two that had the more complicated swirls, and here are the ones that had the more simplistic swirls. So you can see that each one's going to be slightly different, so you want to try and pair them up so that they look the same, because if you put these two together they look too different, in my opinion, to be an earring pair. So anyway, that's basically it for this tutorial. If it was helpful to you, let me know in the comments below, and also keep in mind you can use any leftover clay you want for this, any colour. Also, you don't have to necessarily do it with leftover clay, it's just a nice way to use up leftover clay. And you can swap out the black for any colour that complements your leftover clay. I just thought that the black created quite a striking effect. And so that's basically it. If you have questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer. And also please do consider becoming a patron and joining my Patreon community, as I have tutorials that are exclusive to Patreon, or you can buy them on Etsy. I also have discounts to my Etsy store, up to 20% actually, and you can access all of the tutorials I've ever posted on there if you join the highest level, which is $15 US. There are also lower tiers where you access less stuff, but on the $15 level you can access 3 tutorials every single month, as well as about 200 other ones that I have posted over the course of about 2.5 years now. So please do consider becoming a patron, as that helps me continue making tutorials every week for this channel for free. And as always, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.